Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to our Subscriber Game Tournament Season 2 as we continue with our Round 3 time trial here featuring Xun Zhongyi. And looking at his unit choices, we have Guo Jia, Lü Bu, Zhang Jiao. Excellent choices, Guo Jia for the Foresight, Lü Bu for his individual speed and Dragon's Gaze, and Zhang Jiao because he can recruit Messenger of Heaven. And looking at the unit choices for these generals, we do have indeed the Messenger of Heaven, and Zhang Jiao is only rank 2, which is a really smart level to keep him at, as he keeps his signature dying off for invincibility ability, while having less health and a better horse actually, so he'll be faster. Now, Guo Jia in this case is recruiting 2 spear unit, which is the real big question mark of this composition, as I will never engage those spears, so they will never catch me and thus be irrelevant in this match. So a better choice would have been just more militia cavalry, which even Guo Jia can recruit, if not Northern Lancers, which is also an option, but that's a little slow, so the militia version probably would be best. And speaking of militia Lancer cavalry, we have 2 on Lü Bu who are ranked 10, which I think is a misuse of funding here, as you could easily take away those money and the spearman recruitment costs and probably recruited maybe 4 more cavalry for Guo Jia, and that would be a better composition here, as the spear will prove useless. And if you want to keep Guo Jia safe, just run him along with the army. As long as he's close enough to another unit or general, I would never try to snipe him. It doesn't bring me any benefit to take away your sight, as stock is not really my main savior here, getting surprise attack. I'm mainly using that for the 50% speed boost. Now with all that said, let's hop into game and see how this actual deployment played out. So looking here, this is the problematic deployment. The one where guerrilla deployment happens all across the field. It's a guessing game at this point. You're essentially playing roulette by putting your units in pairs all across the map, as these 2 have the unfortunate luck of being placed right next to where my main army started, which is good and bad. Good news is you found me. Bad news is I'm gonna kill you. So with no other units nearby, which was pretty clear, I am just gonna charge at these 2 units, as there's nothing that can come close to saving them, and the rest would be a recovery effort. You can see I was like, I should run away? No, there's only 2. I should kill them. So here comes the Xiliang Cav. Now if these had been Messenger of Heaven, I might have hesitated a bit longer, because then it would be really 4 units of cavalry that I had to fight. Here I know they have low morale. You can see the roar and the slam, immediate rout, super fast, and I can keep running after this point, because after I crush them, I become invisible. But then I notice there's 2 more cavalry by themselves. I couldn't see much else, but then as I saw Lü Bu come from the side, I'm like, I can kill these 2 as well, even if they're Messenger of Heaven. But there's no one around to help them. As you can see, all the units are desperately trying to close into this location, so help is on the way, but we'll see if they arrive in time. It's a lot harder to kill messengers. The fact that they didn't do a counter charge was a bit bad for them, because I basically got off my charge damage. Here comes the charge, but it's too messy to really land a clean charge here, I believe. Especially since they're charging at the same unit, which is my general. I did get a roar off, which doesn't really help against messengers, which makes them really tough. As you can see, they all pile up, which is why I typically avoid fighting as much as I can, because there's a chance of everyone piling in, including Lü Bu, and just eradicating my units, which is the risk here. So I decided to pull my generals, because they're the main force here. If I can eliminate a couple messengers, then good for me. So I ran off my generals, and I think the biggest mistake here is Lü Bu didn't stay to kill off every single militia here. He could have roared them and then bashed them, and as long as Zhang Jiao keeps pace, it'll be okay. But because only Zhang Jiao and Lü Bu chased, I decided that maybe I don't need to run. Maybe what I need to do is kill Lü Bu here, because there's no one that's close enough to help. So we dismounted, and we started hacking at Lu Bu. Now he hurts. You can see Sima Wei getting injured pretty quickly with one hit, but with us on foot, our attack animation is just that much faster, and Lu Bu is running really low. But Xun Zhongyu was able to pull him out, which was quite impressive. Now I had no choice but to stay and fight Zhang Jiao, even though I know I don't really want to activate his ability, and Lu Bu came back in time to pick up the invincibility, so I cannot fight him right now. He's invincible for the next minute. So what I have to do is remount. I cannot stand here until those units come, because my units are wiped. The good news is my units have recovered, and I told them to come catch up to the general to swarm Lu Bu while I run away. As you can see, Guo Jia can't help in this matchup. Guo Jia should be falling. He disables my abilities, and that's what he can be used for. Plus, he has Wisdom River. But because Xun Zhongyu is so focused on my generals, his units after winning didn't actually get the command to continue to chase, so my cavalry actually got out. I'm just waiting for this 22 seconds of invincibility to end before I re-engage, because I'm sure I can kill Lu Bu. There's no other general. I know Guo Jia can't fight, or at least I know he wasn't intending Guo Jia to fight. So I'm timing this ability here so that I can catch him right when it times out, so that I can actually kill him here. But if he runs away, I don't have the speed to catch him. He's going for the spear, so we're going to ignore him and help our units. Because now I feel like with the proper slams, maybe we can win this. Certainly there's more enemy cavalry, especially these Messenger Heaven. Even heavily damaged still has more unit than a fully, we don't have any full health ones left, but basically they have much more health. But we do have Unbreakable through our ability, and that's what we gave our units. We told them to be unbreakable, and then we peeled to fight Lu Bu. One charge from our 3 generals killed him. Now it gets a lot easier, as Lu Bu's cavalry suffer a big general recently died penalty to morale. We used our surprise attack for damage, and you can see it's basically 3 generals with a bunch of cavalry winning the fight at this point. The level 10 militia's not going to make any difference here, and our units have timed out in terms of their unbreakable, but I think we killed enough. We got another roar off, and we have a couple units recovering to help us pursue some of these units that's only routing because of the roar, and a couple of slams here and there. The spearmen are trying to help, but I think too little too late, as these pesky Messenger Heaven will eventually die. Look at how much morale penalty it's tanking. Any other shot cav would have already routed, but they are just so sturdy. And they do have a unit that's bouncing back, and I don't have many units left, so I only have 1 chasing. I have maybe 2 here if they maintain their morale. It looks like they're going to be okay. We give them Unbreakable just in case. And then we're starting to run away from their reinforcement, as we have to just chase away these 2 units, regroup, and use the speed difference. This cavalry should stay with the units. If they pull any distance, I could just kill them. As a matter of fact, that's probably what will happen very soon. And the fact that only 1 spear unit is sent, and this is the stubborn formation that was used to try to keep Guo Jia safe, is not going to do him any favor, as I do realize this distance has been created. We routed that unit real quick, turned around, killed this unit. We still have a Flame of the Phoenix. Well, I peeled him away because he was quite low. Didn't want him to die here. I realized if I really wanted to win the whole fight, then I would need to save Sima Wei with his Flame of Phoenix to kill the Spearman, because I have no unit that can do that. Alright, so with the cavalry all killed, at this point, we were in voice chat, and I told Xun Zhongyu that he's pretty much eliminated, because I would basically just run around the map until the cutoff time is met, because now he will never be able to engage me. And I asked him if he wanted to just end the battle. He wanted to fight to the end, so this will continue for a little bit. And once the timer goes past 1337, which is the cutoff, I will engage his unit, because there's no reason not to at that point. A quick fight, the Wisdom River too little too late, In this type of engagement, I'm able to give my units the Unbreakable if there's ever any danger of him doing damage to my units to rout them, but Guojia gets run off the map, and now the spear really has absolutely no hope of ever catching up to me. And here's where we had a little chat in voice chat, and I decided, okay, we'll fight. Gotta smash, and Sima Wei dies here, but we do chase away this unit, and then to make sure that it's fair for the other contestants, I was like, I'm gonna run away now, and just wait till we get past the time. I'll throw the cavalry at him since he wanted to fight, and we'll just stay away until we're past the 13-minute mark. And then I believe I conceded, because there's really no point playing. I probably can't kill it, but it's a close call. I do have a roar ability left. Yeah, we're past the time. I just conceded. It's 14:05. We're in the clear. So, unfortunately for Sun Zhongyi here, he will miss out on the top 8. Now, I believe he was the 8th place finisher, not in terms of actual placing, but we did do a time trial last year, and he was the 8th place time that got into the top 8. Or perhaps I remember that incorrectly. I think he was the 9th time. I think he missed it by a little bit, if I remember correctly. So it's a bit unfortunate this happened again, back-to-back seasons. He was either 8th or 9th. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. But he was close last season, and he was close once again this season. The biggest mistake was not having Guojia with cavalry unit, but that's not the actual fatal flaw. The fatal flaw was the deployment. This group of unit is more than enough to beat my units, but you have to fight together. If I can pick you off 2 at a time, then that would not work. And also the general pursuing alone, 2v3, as good as Lu Bu is, he's not beating 3 of my generals when I'm dismounted. So that was also a big issue in terms of just the turn there. If Lu Bu had stayed patient, gone to the cavalry, wiped them out, and then chased with the unit, it would have been slightly better. Now, of course, this is a time-pressured event, so thinking that the cavalry side's already won, which technically it was, there was just a little bit of lack of micro where the units didn't pursue everyone that was routed, so that I was able to regroup the units and have them run away. That was a slight micro mistake, but in general, the cavalry already won, so having the general chase was okay, but once you recognize that it was a dismount effort, probably should have peeled and let some of the cavalry come help. Guojia definitely should have helped. Wisdom River is very powerful and would have killed my generals much faster in that regard. Zhang Jiao using tier 2 instead of tier 3 is very wise. I think pretty much if you plan on using Zhang Jiao in multiplayer, tier 2 is the go-to level, since you don't actually gain anything super useful for tier 3, and you can make yourself weaker while retaining his signature ability and access to his best unit in the recruitment as well. So with the time of 14:05, Sun Zhongyi is officially eliminated, and Vermilion Bird is still our cutoff at 13:37 with only Yulia to go. So we'll see how Yulia does in the next match and see who our final 2 top 8 contestants are for this season. So until then, bye!